Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the R&D podcast. I am your host, Rachel.
I'm Daya.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about the power of gratitude in your marriage.
Woo. So they always say, what is it? The attitude is the gratitude. That's exactly the first thing that came to mind. Attitude, gratitude. Man, we can go down this rabbit hole, I think, because I know you, Rachel, very well. And I know that you're like one of those people that wakes up in the morning and is like just grateful to the day.
Yes.
And grateful to the morning, grateful to the coffee you're drinking. And
everything.
Literally, you can just get into this crazy state of gratitude. And I know that there's even moments in my life where I'm just like overwhelmed with this feeling of just being so gracious and grateful. And you know, a lot of the time people just... want to really think about the things that they don't have, and they're resentful for the life they think they should be living, and they're on the outside looking in. And I know we did last season, what is it, the comparison is a thief of joy, and that resonates with me a lot, because I think that if you were grateful for what you have, you wouldn't be looking outward to say, I don't have that, or I need that, or I want that. And I think that, you know, we are all in a place that, you know, like I heard someone say something like, today someone's, you know, in a hospital taking their last breath, wishing they had the opportunity that you have today. And you know, and it resonates with me, because I feel like oftentimes we just think, like, you make plans and you're like, next week I will be doing this, or you know, you kind of put out all the stuff on your calendar thinking about all the things that you're going to do, and you never know how much time is given. And so you just got to be grateful for the time you are given today.
No, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I am a big gratitude person. I do believe that, and I've said this before, resentment and gratitude cannot live in the same house. Actually, depression and gratitude, in my mind, cannot live in the same house. I had a major loss, you know, in my life. I've talked about this openly, with my son passing away when he was 25 years old. And people say, how are you even living? How are you going? You know, people even judge me, thinking maybe I didn't love him because I pick myself up and I'm like go and accomplishing things in life, because I see it as this is my one life and I'm still here. But it's because I choose to be grateful for the 25 years that God gave me with him, instead of absolutely devastated and miserable over the next 40 that I'm not going to be with him. Sadness, of course, kicks in and things like that, but I manage that. Now, in your marriage, if I can do that, let's just say with my son, which is huge and massive, looking at your marriage and going, oh my God, this guy, you know, he's you know, he leaves, like we talked about, the socks on the floor, he doesn't put the toilet seat down, he doesn't put the lining in the trash, and I don't know why that's so hard, but what does he do right? Can you get to a place in your marriage where you say, I'm not leaving him for these 3 things that he does wrong, I'm staying with him for the 15 things that he does right. And if you can get to that place, I think we all have to be reminded of why we walk down the aisle with someone. Right. And that's men and women, but we're mostly talking to women today.
I know, yeah. But I think oftentimes, depending on where you are in your faith journey, oftentimes you forget about the faith factor, because you're too busy, you know, doing the day-to-day things like, going to the store and buying this and taking the kids to soccer practice and bringing them home, and you're stuck in this you know, race rat, as you say, and I don't think you stop to say, you know, I'm grateful for the things, you know, the kids and the car and the food and my husband and my life and my family and my home. And oftentimes, again, you know, we're so caught up in that if you don't have that faith factor, then you may not get to that state of like, thank you for all the things that I do have, not the things that I don't have. And it's really easy to break your person down, because I mean, I hear it more often than not, especially now with social media. I really have an issue with people airing out their dirty laundry, because I think, in my opinion, I feel like if you got an issue with your significant other, you know, hash it out with him. There's no reason for the world to know that you're having issues with him. And I think it's really easy to bash these days. And I also think, by the way, with what we're saying as far as a state of gratitude, I think it's also important that in essence, you protect the energy that you do have with your partner.
Yes.
Because I think there's a fine line between either really putting your business out there for negative, and then also putting your business out for positive. And I think that, you know, since we're energetic beings, in my opinion, right? This is just my personal opinion. I feel that sometimes you got to shield the energy of whatever beautiful things you got going on in your sphere, in your family, with your husband.
Yes.
I don't think everyone needs to know what you're doing or what you're not doing. Like, I just think that people can be jealous and envious.
Yes.
And I think that things that we experience, whether that's goals, dreams, aspirations, things you're going to do, things you're about to do. I really do believe that, you know, life is like a box of magic is the only way that I can describe it.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It sounded like that.
Yes.
But it's like a box of magic, right? And your dreams, aspirations, things you're going to do. You're going to buy another house. Maybe you want to have another child. Maybe you want to buy another property, you know, out of the country. Point is, every time you let people know about that, you're letting out the magic. So sometimes you have to really contain that and keep that excitement within your family, and then also be in a state of gratitude. That's my personal opinion. I just think that people really steal your magic, and if you're voicing it and you're giving it to people to see, I do believe that sometimes people can get jealous. Like, you know, I see that girls that get the beautiful handbag or the brand new car, and then you're like, why don't I have that? And granted, I'm not that girl, but I can see how some people
about,
can be that way.
Kim Kardashian, right, spending however much
to the snow,
get her entire 5-acre lot covered in snow,
right,
for the holidays in Southern California, you guys, where it is like not winter,
it is like here. Summery,
and so she pulled that off, and we were talking about it. I said I was like, wow, how beautiful. She said she was like, whoa, amazing.
The
comment section, 10,000 comments about how annoying, bragging.
She should totally give that money to charity, and she should do this. And, you know, everyone's going to have an opinion, and at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. So you got to, you know, stay within, you know, pleasing yourself, pleasing your husband, pleasing your family, whatever that is. And I do think that there's a fine line between being happy and sharing it with the world and being happy and keeping it for yourself. Because I always kind of think about my dreams and aspirations of the things that I want to accomplish. And I think that I have this little magical box, and I say every time anyone knows what I want to create or do, I'm letting off a little magic, because I don't know that they're going to cheer me on and how they're going to receive it. Because sometimes people get envious of how big of a dreamer you are. You know, if your dreams are really big, people are going to be envious of that. So I think it's important that you keep some things to yourself. And also, if you are on the other side of the spectrum, that you don't sit there and bash your person on social media, because that's really easy to just be like, this idiot over here. You know, like that one video that went viral of they were doing like a baby reveal, and the guy accidentally let go of the balloon, and she flips out. She's like, he's just an idiot. And I mean, she's like an
Asian girl, right?
Yeah, Asian girl. She's
so mad at the guy.
I'm like, well, he's obviously not that dumb. He got you pregnant, so you ain't that smart yourself.
But it's like,
you know what I mean?
Who's dumber? Like the person who married the dumb guy. Like, you saw he was dumb and you still married him. Like,
I don't even know if she married him. She just got knocked up, right? So I mean, I'm questioning your intelligence myself, you know. But my point to that is that I think that was one of those things where they just caught her saying that. But there are instances where I've been on social media and I see this, like, all you had to do is put the trash liner down, and you can't even do that. And it's like, does the world need to see that? Do you need to really like break your person down that way?
I'm going to get into the gratitude in a little bit of a woo-woo fashion here.
All right.
Because I did an episode on this on the Rachel Unpacked podcast where I talked about the unlocking power that gratitude brings.
Oh my gosh.
Because let me tell you, whenever I wanted, let's say, a new car, I was driving a little Lexus IS. I had it during my marriage and divorce. I didn't feel like I wanted to incur another car payment. I'm weird with money. Everybody will tell you. But I was like, I don't know that I want to get another car payment. So I'm in Irvine, California, you guys, near Newport. There's beautiful cars, people, everything. I had a high-powered position. The owner of the media company is like, why are you driving that car? Everybody would be like, what's with the car? Like, and it was a cute car. Like, it was clean.
It was cute.
But I would be pulling up next to girls in Bentleys and Benzes and all this kind of stuff that were my age, and I was like, what am I doing? So anyways, I end up getting into total gratitude for the car, because I was in a stretch of like, ugh, this stupid car, but I just don't want a car payment. So I was kind of bashing my own car and letting people bash my car, all because I didn't want another car payment. Okay. So what I decided to do is I shifted it. I said, I am going to fall in love with this car. I said, God, I said, allow me to fall in love with it. Let everybody that sees it go, wow, this is a great little car. And so I hired detailers to come. They detailed every little thing. It was like a brand new version of it, even though it was like 8 years old or something. And when I tell you, I will do another episode about my money issues, but like not issues, but like my mentality is just so
out there.
So anyways, I hired the detailer to come do clean the car, and it was like it looked
Pretty.
brand new, no joke.
Pretty.
I'm driving it and I'm like on the freeway and I'm like, thank you God for this car. Like I felt such
grateful.
gratitude for the car and everything. And once that happened, by the way, then I had to go to an event that night, and at valet, when I picked up my keys at the end of the night, the valet guy goes, "Can I just tell you something?" And I go, "This is the cleanest little IS I've ever seen ever. Like, this is a badass little car." So here comes, like, I gave the car love and gratitude, and it obviously radiated, because even the valet parking was like,
happy about
this is a
like,
fancy
nice.
place. Okay, they see some nice cars. He was like, "This is an amazing car." Okay, great. Not even a week later, I just get this wild message. It's like, "Hey, I just left a Mercedes dealer. You should go check it out. They have this deal on this car that you like." I tell my son, "Let's go check it out." That day, they gave me the exact payment I want. Every single scenario that I wanted in order to feel comfortable to make this jump happened, and I got this car that I wanted. So it was almost like it unlocked something in there. And the same thing happened with, like, the home I lived in. I washed the walls. I lived with boys, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I scrubbed the railings on the thing. I changed all the fixtures to, like, this little chandelier. Got new portraits, and I would walk in every day, instead of going, "Oh God, I live in a frat house."
Yeah.
I literally was like, "Thank you, God.
Yeah.
It has a beautiful view. I'm in a beautiful neighborhood. It's so clean and pretty." And within a week, I got notice that the owner was selling, because that's just what happens.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You gotta go." I lived there in my marriage, was selling, gotta go. And I was like, all right, and ended up in a bigger, better place.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you can get into gratitude and show God that you are so grateful for your husband, and just really nurture them. Be a good steward of your blessings.
I agree.
Because your husband is a blessing.
Yeah.
He might have been sent to teach you something about yourself. And you just got to get into gratitude about the things he does right.
Yeah.
And that you're grateful for. And you never know what that will unlock.
And sometimes, sometimes it's not necessarily your job to do that. Sometimes you got to teach people too. And so sometimes it's like a matter of both of you guys teaching each other, because if you've never actually been in a state of gratitude to tell him how you want him to be and then how you're going to be, he might think you're just like losing it. So I think that it's a matter of also teaching people, what you're grateful for. Like, imagine if I sit here and say, "Rachel, I am grateful for," let me tell you what I'm grateful for about you. And I start going down the list. I think
I'll do more of that.
I think yes, and not to mention that you might look at me and you'd be like, Delia, I am grateful for this about you. And so you start to get, rapport with each other, and it's like, okay, so now we're both on the same page. But I think if I'm just like, Rachel, let me tell you something. I don't like what you do about this.
All
so
wrong.
and let me tell you what you're going to do back to me. You're going to do the same thing. And so I think that it's just building positive rapport.
What do they say when you point forward, 4 fingers point back, or something?
Always,
like that?
that's the way that's what I've always I've heard that too, So, but I think it's just building positive rapport with whoever you're with. And sometimes, I think I say it on freaking every damn episode. And I think life is, playing tennis. You got to serve the ball a few times, and you got to be the one to teach people like how you want to be treated, or you got to tell people why you're grateful, what they do for you, what they make you feel. And then in return, I'm very certain that person's going to be like, "You know what? I appreciate you for all these reasons too."
If he put gas in your tank, if he took your car to the gas station and he filled you up, because not all husbands do that anymore.
No, they don't.
When you get in your car and you go to work and you see that needle is all the way up, when you come home or send him a text, but mostly I think in person, if you can come home and be like, "Hey babe, I was on my way to work and I thought, oh God, I have to get gas, and I saw that you filled it up," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Like, I was so glad you did that because you saved me so much time." Kind of make a little bit of a big deal about it. Because then you'll start to get in the routine and it really stands out to them. And if they went and they washed their truck and usually it's a mess, and you could be like, "Oh my God, your truck looks really nice. Like, it smells really good." Make that extra effort. Don't just say thank you. Actually, like, express. Like, express the gratitude. Gratitude, just be like, "Oh, thanks, babe." Boom. Flat. No, like, express. Like, why was it great that he did this? Get into it, you guys.
I know.
Allow him to hear your excitement and allow him to feel like, all right, and chances are he's going to do more of that.
Yes.
There's a saying, I think it's Peter Thiel says, where your focus goes, energy flows.
Yes.
And so, like Delia's saying, if you focus on all his negative things, the energy will grow.
And more negative things are just going to come up, and he's going to look at the same thing that that is negative about you. Because at the end of the day, we're flawed humans. I don't care who you are. we're all flawed humans, and we all have things that your partner may not like about you, and sometimes you got to teach them, and sometimes you got to be the one to not have ego, leave the ego at the door, and be the one to say, you know what, thank you for all the things that you do for me, not the things that you don't do for me. And so I think that, again, with social media, it's really easy to compare yourself to, you know, the one girl that you haven't seen since you were in high school that got the brand new car with the big old red bow, and you have an older car, and you're like, why can't I be like that girl? And, you know, you got to stop looking at what she got. You got to look at what you have, and then just be grateful. And I promise you, things are just going to start to flow in the direction of whatever it is that you want for your life. And then also be very protective of who you tell about the things that, you know, the dreams and aspirations, being grateful for what you have. And we, you know, as we're living, we keep on dreaming, hopefully, and, you know, protect that magic, because oftentimes people aren't that happy
and
for you.
Show yourself gratitude, please.
Yes.
When you are getting dressed, show yourself gratitude. If you put on a few pounds, but you know you like your your booby situation, thank you. I like, look at that's beautiful. Find what's beautiful about you and give gratitude to yourself. Because I heard years and years ago, never point out your flaws to a man. Never, if he says, "Wow, baby, you look great." Oh yeah, but you know my love handle here, but my thighs touch. But then now that's all he's gonna see. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Don't draw his eyes to the things that you don't even like about yourself, but learn to be grateful for things. Grateful that you don't have uterine cancer, breast cancer. Like, be grateful. Don't be thinking, oh God, they're sagging a little bit. Hey, at least they don't have anything growing in them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find ways to just find gratitude in everything that even the thing that you wish was better, prettier, whatever, you know, funner, you know, wealthier, whatever. Just find the gratitude in what you already have, because essentially, why would God give you more when you're not even grateful for what he already gave you? Everything you have, look around, you prayed for that. Somewhere, somehow, 20 years ago, 2 months ago, you asked for something, you prayed for something, and he's giving it to you. And now that he gave it to you, you just want the next thing, because social media is showing you something else new and shiny. You got to get grateful for what you already have and be a good steward of what you already have.
Yeah, and I think because the goals move, you know, every time you hit a goal and a landmark, I think the goals constantly are changing. And I think it's just a matter of looking at the journey and being appreciative of the journey and the journey you've traveled to get to these different landmarks or these different, you know, milestones. And so I think that, you know, with gratitude, it's really easy. We can go down this rabbit hole for a very long time. I think because you and I are on the same page as far as our alignment in what we see and how we view life. But in the end, you know, I think that even your inner dialogue needs to be beautiful about yourself, and speak to yourself beautifully and be very gracious to who you are as a human being. And at the end of the day, things are shifting, moving, dropping, wrinkling, and you got to be grateful for every step and every journey that you know, touch these little like milestones.
And put a little fun thing in place with you and your partner, you know, because if you guys are new to this gratitude journey, maybe you say something like, hey, I don't get to ask you for any favors until I've shown 3 to 7 signs of gratitude. Maybe come up with something. Maybe I should put that in a book. I don't know. But like, maybe come up with some little game, some little exercise that can start to create that muscle memory of where mostly what comes out of your mouth is positive and grateful and loving towards your person instead of not.
Instead of knocking it. Yes. That's all we got.
All right. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.